Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Chandra Jaya Giridhara Jaya Gopi Chandra Jaya Giridhara Yasodanam Bhajajanaranya Yasodanam Bhajajanaranya Yamunatira Manatira Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govardhana Hare Krishna Ram Gira Shri Shri Gonitai Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Caitanya Caritamrta Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from the Adi Lila, chapter 17, text 52. Shri Vasikarali Tui Bhavani Pujana Koti Janmaka Bhikoro Raravi Patana Shri Vasikarali Tui Bhavani Pujana Koti Janma Bhitora Ruravi Patana Shiva Shikarali Tu Bhavani Pujana Koti Janma Bhitora Ruravi Patana Shiva Shikarali Tui Bhavani Pujana Koti Janma Bhikura Ruravi Patana. Somebody else? Srivasi unto Srivas Thakur Karaili you have cause to do to you Bhavani Pujana worshipping the goddess Bhavani Koti Janma for 10 million births Abhi there will be Torah Yo Ruravi in hell Patana fall down. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. You have made Sri Vas Thakur appear to have been worshipping the goddess Bhavani. Simply for this offense, you will have to fall down into hellish life for 10 million births. There are many tantric followers who practice the black art of worshipping the goddess Bhavani in a crematorium, wishing to eat meat and drink wine. Such fools also consider this Bhavani Puja as good as worship of Lord Krishna in devotional service. Such abominable tantric activities are performed by so-called swamis and yogis are herein condemned. However, by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he declares that such Bhavani Puja for drinking wine and eating meat quickly plunges one into hellish life. The method of worshipping itself is already hellish, and its results must also be hellish and nothing more. Many rascals say that whatever one may Many rascals say that whatever way one accepts, one will ultimately reach Brahman. Yet we can see from this verse how such persons reach Brahman. Brahman spreads everywhere, but appreciation of Brahman in different objects leads to different results. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Ye yata mam prabhadyanti tam stataiva bhajani aham. I reward everyone according to his surrender unto me. Mayavadis certainly realize Brahman in certain aspects. Realization of Brahman in the aspect of wine, women and meat is not the same realization of Brahman that devotees achieve by chanting, dancing and eating prasadam. Mayavadi philosophers, being educated in paltry knowledge, think all sorts of Brahman realization are one and the same, and do not consider varieties. But although Krishna is everywhere by his inconceivable potency, he is simultaneously not everywhere. Thus, the Brahman realization of the tantric cult is not the same Brahman realization as that of pure devotees. Unless one reaches the highest point of Brahman realization, Krishna consciousness, he is punishable. All people except Krishna conscious devotees are to be some proportion pashandis or demons, and thus they are punishable by the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. Yes. Jai Jai Amaganti Marandasya Janandana Salakaya Chak Minhami Tasmai Sri Kadavi Namaha. It's by this verse we can understand that in a sense we create our own destinies by the choices we make in life. You know, choices and decisions are something we're making every moment. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells us the most important choices we want to make are choices in regard to our highest well-being, our spiritual well-being. It's all part of loving yourself, respecting yourself, taking yourself more seriously, catering for your real self-interest, planning out your best future so that your life will be more meaningful and your destiny will be more beautiful. So we see, yes, we are the makers, we are the architects of our own futures, our own destinies. That life is not just so simplistic that whatever we feel is good is actually good for us. Just like just like some people think smoking cigarettes is very good, very nice. They get a lot of pleasure from smoking cigarettes. But 20 years down the line, when they're sitting in the cancer ward with half their throat cut out, they might think, maybe it wasn't such a good thing. So life is not so simplistic that whatever we feel is good for us. Just similarly, people, young children, young kids, they don't want to go to school. A lot of them, they just want to stay home and play. And they don't want to eat good food. They just want to eat, they just want the dessert, right? They just want to eat chocolates and lollies. And if the parents just let them do what they wanted to do, then, 20 years down the line, they'd be just totally uneducated people with probably no teeth from just eating chocolates and lollies. So yes, life is not just so simplistic that whatever we feel is good for us. There's some people, just like we're reading in this verse, people are performing all this very unbona fide forms of worship, and they're eating meat, they're drinking wine, etc., and they're thinking this is very good. We're going to get a good result from this. We enjoy this. Yes, it's all the laws of karma are working. Actually, there's one really nice story in the Caitanya Caritamrta about, Lord Chaitanya and his followers. They were doing the kirtan party, and the Harinam. And they were chanting through the towns and through the villages. And they saw a lake there in the nearby distance. And in there with this lake, there was some cows there, and they were making this very strange noise. And, they were like they were really frightened, these cows. And Lord Chaitanya asked his followers, why are the cows making so much noise? And Gopal replied, there's a crocodile in this lake, a big crocodile, very dangerous crocodile. And these cows are worried that when they go to drink the water from the lake, this crocodile is going to try and get them. And they do that, the crocodiles. Actually, there was something on the internet, where this, I think it was up North Queensland. Actually, this horse was drinking from this lake or a pond. Suddenly, a big crocodile, the biggest crocodiles, just came up and just took the whole horse's head. Took his whole head from half that way down his neck. Very dangerous predators. So they told Lord Chaitanya, there's a crocodile in the lake, the cows are afraid of it, they're making all this noise. So Lord Chaitanya, he told the kirtan party, start a kirtan. And after a while, the crocodile came out of the lake, this big, dangerous crocodile. And he came to the surface and he swam to the edge of the lake, and then he climbed out of the lake, up on the bank, and then he just started running towards Lord Chaitanya. Very fast, crocodiles can run at incredible speeds. You can never get away from them if they're after you. So when he got to Lord Chaitanya, he stopped and he bowed down and he touched his lotus feet with his foot. And immediately he touched Lord Chaitanya's foot. He was transformed into this divine celestial child. And Lord Chaitanya said, what happened? Now, who are you? And the divine child said, I'm a resident of Indraloka. In that world, I am only 5 years old. I'm just a little boy. So once I saw this sage, he was sleeping in the forest. And I was a naughty boy. I decided, just for fun, I'll cut his hair. But I didn't know that rishi was Devasa Muni. Devasa Muni, he gets very angry. He's very, he's a yogi, but he's famous for getting very angry. And when he woke up and he noticed his hair was cut, that Devasa Muni, the boy said that the Devasa Muni, he cursed me to become a crocodile because I like cutting things. And when I heard this curse, I told him, I'm sorry, Devasa, I didn't mean it. I was just being a playful child. I didn't know. I don't want to be a crocodile. Please take back the curse. Devasa said, I'm sorry, I can't take back the curse. You have to become a crocodile. But I will give you a special benediction. I'll give you a way which you can attain liberation from that crocodile body. You will be a crocodile until the Kali Yuga comes. And when Lord Chaitanya comes, if you touch his lotus feet, you'll be free from that curse. So I've been waiting here in this lake, in this crocodile body for yugas. Hundreds of thousands of years for you to come. Then he circumambulated the Lord 4 times. And meanwhile, what happened is his parents, they came down from Indraloka and they started chastising him, because he's just a 5-year-old boy. The whole time he was on the earth had only been just like a year in Indraloka. And they said, you naughty boy, why are you giving people trouble? Come back home. And they took him back to Indraloka in their celestial airplane. So yes, this is just one story about, how people, they create their own destinies, by the choices they make, by their activities. Yes, the laws of karma. It's amazing. In this world, we see at the present time, we're seeing a lot more tension for years. It's not such a peaceful time. Rather, it's a very turbulent time, and we're all fastening our seatbelts and hoping that everything is going to be okay. Not only political and economic tension, but we see nature is coming up with some intense outbursts. Even just over the last 10 years, 20 years, tsunamis, floods, tornadoes, cyclones, earthquakes, volcanoes, droughts, diseases, fires, epidemics. The list goes on. So many wars. Not such a peaceful time. And we're hoping everything's going to be okay. And it can be. The Bhagavad Gita gives us some insights into the situation. explains how the laws of karma, which act automatically, are working. You know, the principles of karma are very simple to comprehend, but the details of how karma operates can be very complex. You know, as inhabitants of this planet, we cannot afford to simply ignore the deepest causes of all these crises, which is the laws of karma. The word karma actually literally means action, and the laws of karma refers to our actions and reactions we set in motion when we do something. You know, the great scientist Isaac Newton, you know, he had his third law of motion, that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Similarly, this scientific law explains the principles of karma. It's a natural law, just like the law of gravity. You know, if you hold something up and you drop it, let it go, it falls down automatically. You can't reverse the laws of karma, the laws of gravity. Similarly, you cannot reverse the laws of karma. So these laws of karma, they act, whether you believe in the laws of karma or not. We may think of karma as kind of like one aspect of the universe that realigns itself in response to how we live in the universe. Whatever action we perform, good or bad, is like planting a seed that will eventually grow and produce a corresponding reaction. So our bhakti scriptures, they teach us that karma works not just individually on each person, but also collectively. Prabhupada talks about this, national karma. If I cause pain to another living being, I'll get a reaction in this life or the next life. And if we, as a nation, cause pain to others, similarly, as a nation, we'll get reaction. It is all based on universal laws and principles which govern the universe. And just like at the moment we see, so many people are dying in these wars. Okay, someone told me there's like 35 wars going on at the moment. Especially we see this one in Russia and Ukraine. Actually, so many devotees have actually died in these wars just recently. And Prabhupada mentions that these wars, where there's so much suffering involved, is a result of people killing the cows. Actually, statistically, there's like 60 billion innocent creatures. I suppose cows, birds, ducks, pigs, goats, fish. So many different living entities. There's like 60 billion are slaughtered every year. And generally, it's because people, they like the taste of meat. Some countries, I suppose maybe in Alaska where they can't grow vegetables, they have to eat meat. But although I read that even in Alaska and Greenland now, they've got these big glass houses which are heated by thermal pools, and they grow all sorts of vegetables and fruit and all sorts of things. Anyhow. So, of course, this may lead to question. Some people, they question this. Is the Supreme Lord, is he directly responsible for mankind's various sufferings? Some people even say, that, God's partial, like a normal person. He's kind to some people. Some people just have a great life. They have, everything just comes their way. Economic development, happiness, good health. good looks, intelligence, and other people not so good. You know, they may be born in a slum, you know, or born with some kind of illness or deformity, or they're just incredibly poor, or they're not very attractive, whatever, you know. I mean, and some people say that God's, he's just partial. So he likes some people, and he blesses them, gives them all these nice things, and he just, some people he just doesn't like, and he just makes life horrible for them. So to really understand these things, we really need some insight into the workings of this planet. Just how the Supreme Lord is orchestrating this finely tuned universe. It's actually inconceivable to the human mind and intellect. It is, Prabhupada mentioned, it's completely beyond our thinking jurisdiction. That's why we need spiritual guidance and education and ultimate enlightenment. You know, and you know, as far as this people, you know, saying that is God responsible, you know, there's all these different philosophies now. You know, even the Christians and people that worship God have trouble coming to terms with this thing. You know, if God loves us and he's created this world and he's in control of everything, why is he allowing horrible things, terrible things, suffering to go on in this world? There's even one Jewish rabbi, and actually he had this son who was very attached to his son, and his son died very young of an incurable disease. And of course, the Jewish people too, they suffered so much, you know, through the Second World War, etc. So he came up with this philosophy that God is, he's all good, but he's not all powerful. He's not in complete control of what happens in this world. There's natural phenomena that's going on beyond his control, the forces of nature. And a lot of people actually, millions of people actually believe this philosophy. That God, because it's not substantiated by any scriptures. You know, in all scriptures of the world, it is said God is almighty. He's completely in control of everything. And of course, there's other people there's even people that say that God is fundamentally evil. That he's, you know, he's just causing all these horrible things in the world because he's not such a nice person. And of course, there's others who believe there's two gods. There's a good God who's benevolently and looking after people and caring and loving everyone, and there's the bad God, or Satan, and he's causing all the trouble and suffering in the world. So yes, it's completely beyond its, you know, we might not be able to trace out the specific reason why we're suffering, but we can understand at some time we acted in a way that sowed a seed that grew into our present condition. That means using our free will and independence, we may choose to act and perform an action, and in accordance to that action, we were bound to a certain reaction, either good or bad. Sometimes they use the example of when you board a plane. You know, when you board a plane, you can't change your destination halfway through the flight. Once you're on board, you will reach that destination, but then you can make new choices. So in this sense, we learn from our Vedic literatures that in essence, we are 100% responsible for who we are, where we are in life right now, and everything we've done in the past. And it's up to us what we make of our life from this day on. Which means to a significant extent, as I said before, we are makers of our own destinies. We are the architects of our own futures. We created our own present set of circumstances, our particular body we have. And yes, we created our own rewards, which may come as being born with special gifts, such as wealth or fame or good health, beauty, intelligence, high intelligence, happiness. Prabhupada mentions aristocracy. I think Prabhupada mentioned that when Queen Elizabeth was born and she was crowned, Queen of England, that she was the most pious person, very pious, she mentioned she was a very pious person, she got that. So we create our own punishments, which may come as various forms of misery and setbacks in life. And I know myself, before I became a devotee, I was suffering in so many different ways. Even as a child, I was having accidents all the time, breaking my arm, breaking my leg. It was just ongoing, And then it's amazing because, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, when you surrender unto me, I take away the results of your sinful activities. I take away your bad karma. I neutralize the effects of that heavy karma. Of course, Prabhupada did mention is this, just like when you turn off a fan, there's still spinning. So similarly, there may be a little residual result of karma there. And some people use it, just like if you cut your finger when you're cooking. In real life, if you weren't a devotee, you may have lost your whole arm or something. Yes. And as far as Krishna goes, he declares in Bhagavad Gita that he's not envious of anyone. He's equal to all. He simply gives us free will to act. He witnesses our actions because he's there as a super soul in our heart. He ordains or confirms our actions, and then he just remains neutral. And he just allows all the rewards and punishments to be netted out by the material energy. So this philosophy of karma, it's not meant to induce like depression or unhealthy guilt, or rather it's provided to help us to intelligently take responsible for our choices in life. And life itself, it's a long journey through which we'll experience both, joy and happiness, which can bring us so much, it can bring us even unhappiness and misery in life, which can help us, it can bring us so much wisdom actually. It can wake us up, make us want to improve our quality of life. And, by taking responsibility for our actions. And that may be one of the reasons why this is one of the reasons why people come to Krishna consciousness. Just people that are stressed. That's one of the reasons. There's 4 different types of people, the pious people. People are suffering, I just did a Nam Hut program last night. And I was talking to these group of Indians, and I was telling them, and actually, a lot of people, like amongst the Indian communities, they've given up their culture. They just want to be they just live complete Western way of life. And then I mentioned to them, I said, so many people, they have a nice home, they have a nice car, they have a nice family, they have a nice food. They have so much material comfort. But in their hearts, they feel there's something missing. They're not happy. And when I said that, I looked at their faces and I could see that they all felt that. So, I was telling him how millions of people around the world, even amongst the Indian community now, are realizing this in their day-to-day lives. And it's bringing them back to their culture, bringing them back to their religion. Just like I was just in Vrindavan, last week, and they opened the door, the gates, the front gates of the temple to Mangaladi, 1,000 people come in. The temple room is absolutely packed. You can't move. Yes. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada has saved us, and he's also saved the people of India, all the people, especially the young people, who are into this whole Bollywood lifestyle now. By the mercy of Prabhupada and his dedicated followers, he's bringing them back. We're bringing them back to their culture. So, spiritual training and education can help us make the wise choices in our personal behavior, which will naturally make our life more meaningful and our destiny, our karma, more beautiful. By taking up spiritual practices such as hearing from sacred literatures, chanting sacred mantras, having good association with spiritually minded friends who share our aspirations, we can build that strength necessary to even resist, you could say, temptations that lead to negative karmic reactions in the future. We can actually develop the strength within ourselves to live the pure spiritual and godly life. And bhakti yoga is a practice that takes us even beyond the laws of karma and its effects. Bhakti is based on living in harmony, complete harmony with nature, with the universe, with each other, and with the Supreme Lord. And all activities offered in Bhakti Yoga for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, they produce no karma at all, only good karma. Very good karma. They nourish the seed of pure, divine, spiritual love. And through this Bhakti Yoga, we'll gradually perceive that beyond life's ups and downs is the loving hand of our Supreme Friend, Krishna, protecting us, empowering us, giving us ultimate shelter, real freedom, and opportunities for progress in our spiritual journey. And I know Radhanath Swami talks about this karma. He tells us, he explained once that as our devotion burns brighter and brighter, the complicated, intricate conditions of karma, this karmic shell or coverings we've spent lifetimes developing, is eventually burnt away completely, and the soul, our true spiritual self, will shine forth. So we all have that karmic shell, those coverings we've spent lifetimes just developing, this through total ignorance, which covers our original pure spiritual nature. So as we go on practicing Krishna consciousness, gradually it's just that karmic, all those karmic shells are burnt away. Yes. So understanding the laws of karma or nature's laws, it's not meant to. It's not simply meant to judge ourselves or others, or make blanket assumptions about one another's sufferings. Like seeing someone suffering and you think, wow, that person must have been very sinful in their past life. It's not meant for that. Understanding the laws of karma means looking beneath the surface of how this world operates. The subtle mechanics of creation. And understand that, as I said, There's a famous saying by Ridhananda Maharaj that life is not so simplistic that whatever we feel is good for us. Life is vastly more complex. Yes, that nature holds us responsible for our actions. So such wisdom, it allows us to understand how to positively avoid future suffering by acting in accordance to divine principles. And when you think about the state of the world today, you can see that it's through the world, the future of the world is really dependent on receiving this knowledge and understanding. As we were talking before, there's so many horrible things going on in the world today as a result of people just acting in complete ignorance of the laws of karma, of the principles of religion. So many horrible reactions, so much suffering now in humanity. So this knowledge, this is why Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita that the intelligence guiding human society must come from a source superior to man's. That's why he's given us this Vedic literature to guide humanity. Oh, just finished it. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask?
Thanks for the class, Garuda. So we have to take action, we have to take responsibility for our actions, but I know for me personally, when things happen to me and when I do things that I don't actually want to do when I'm in a conscious state, it feels like I'm actually getting dragged to do that thing, that I'm not actually making a conscious decision to do these things. So how do we actually get over doing things that we don't actually want to do and we know that are not good for us but still feel like it's...
Well, it's funny, because they say just like when you're going to do something that maybe you shouldn't do, or there's something inside you, like a consciousness that says that you shouldn't do this. You ever experience that? Something inside you that says, no, don't do that. Or even sometimes there's like a little voice inside you that says, that tells you to do something, and then you don't do it. But then later you thought, I should have done that. There's something inside me told me I should have done that. I should have made... That's a super soul. That's Krishna in the heart. He's also our consciousness. He's our consciousness. He's telling us. He's telling us, that he makes us feel like if we're doing something that we know we shouldn't be doing, or that, and something inside us tells us, don't do that. That's Krishna. So we have to try and listen to that intelligence that Krishna's trying to give us. But spiritual strength, it comes through our spiritual practices. Chanting our 16 rounds, associating with devotees, readings from a Bhagavatam. You have to have a good, strong sadhana. That's what really gives us the spiritual strength, and there's so much emphasis on, just like we had, I wasn't here, but we had Mahatma Prabhu, and he gives those seminars on the chanting of the holy name and how to get the maximum benefit from chanting. Like he says, if you're going to spend 2 hours chanting your rounds, you might as well chant really good rounds and get the most benefit from it, rather than just chanting mechanically and robotically and just, allowing the mind to race here, there and everywhere. But, since you're going to spend that time chanting, why not put the effort into chanting really good, attentive rounds? And then also, I remember Caitanya Swami, when he was here last time, he said, talking about reading books, how we should read. He just says, just like in the ashrams, there's like bookshelves of books. but they're just collecting dust. No one's reading them. So yes, I mean, if you sit down and they say, and I find that too, you know, when you read, pick up a Bhagavatam and you read aloud to yourself, it's really powerful actually. You know, and Prabhupada said we should read at least 1 hour a day. No, 1 hour. You may break it up, you know, like 3 20 minutes or 2 half hours, but just sit down and just read. And I tell you, you can feel the effect of that Bhagavatam. You know, you can feel it. Very powerful. Because, you know, when you're reading the Bhagavatam, you're directly associating with Krishna himself. And that through that association, it's very, very powerful, very purifying. And yes, just trying to do some service, and you know, it's you know, we have and trying to do some, if we can, trying to do some kind of preaching. This is also very, very powerful form of gaining spiritual strength. You know, as Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita, there's no one more dear to me than one who tries to distribute this Krishna consciousness to others. And then just by that, and even when you go out, and even if you just distribute one book to someone, as soon as that book goes out, you just feel this euphorial feeling inside you. It's just amazing. It's just like Krishna instantly reciprocating with you. A very beautiful feeling, you know, going out in Harinam, book distribution. And of course we have so many people coming here as guests, and they're inquisitive too, to know what we're doing here, what we're going on. You know, we should share our experiences in Krishna consciousness with others that we find, what we meet. Yeah, all these things, you know, they're very important, you know, and we have to, we as devotees, we're trying to refine and purify our consciousness. And therefore we try and avoid negative influences. And you can see that, you know, you can see people, you know, and it's coming through the media, you know, television, movies, the internet, all this stuff on Facebook and YouTube, and it's just pouring out. And if we spend so much time trying to purify our consciousness and elevate our consciousness and refine our consciousness, so to go back and indulge in all this media propaganda and just recontaminate our consciousness, it's going against what we're trying to achieve. You know what I mean? It can weaken us, it can influence us in so many negative ways. So we try and protect ourselves from these influences, this contaminated materialistic propaganda that's just coming out, flooding the world. And it's just completely controlling people. So I think, yes, spiritual strength. We got to really protect ourselves and really keep a really strong sadhana, you know, and that's what gives us our spiritual strength. That's what helps us, you know, because higher than the mind is the intelligence. So we have to spiritualize the intelligence to control the mind, to control the senses. Is that okay? Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Caitanya Caritamrta ki jai.